Here we go. I really love frogs. I think they're adorable. And I mean, look at this one. It's ridiculous. Once again, I'm not going to tell you what colors to use. I want you to sort of make some decisions, but we are going to spend some time drawing. So you can totally use these colors. You can totally change up these frogs' colors. One of the things that I think is really interesting about this piece, if you look at it, here's the black and white. Look at how little contrast there is between the yellow and the green. Do you see what I mean? There's very little contrast between these things. Although it's quite dominant when you look at it here, you would think the green would be a lot darker. It really isn't. So there's a couple of ways to handle this. One is to really push the dark shadow areas, which are kind of right in here and here. The other is you can, when you pick your colors, regardless of what they are, you can push the contrast as well. This a little darker, this a little lighter. So that's how we're going to be thinking about this. Or, you know, you could just draw it. And we will move up to, I thought we might try a turtle next week. And then, I've got ideas about how to kind of gradually bring us into animals with fur. 3 months, we got 3 months. It'll be wonderful. Let's see. Ah, yeah, Diana, that's coming along nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think that scales are harder than fur?
No.
Okay.
I think they're I think they're different. I don't think they're harder. Also, not a lot of scales on here. This particular.
Not on the frog. I'm thinking about the turtles and their shells.
I might try fish. We might answer that question with fish. I guess what I would say, Sandra, is I'll say the same thing with every subject, right? Which is that we look for areas of detail. I don't think it's any harder than leaves on trees, than a grassy field, than fur, right? And what you do is you don't try to draw every scale or every bit of fur. You kind of focus on areas where there are changes in value, right? And mark making. That's where you work the edges. So it's going to be the same, but I may actually, now that you say it, we may actually throw a fish in there just to like practice on this, because there's a really good fish that will like really help you understand that concept. So just like anything, we're working towards learning how much detail is enough. What is the right amount of detail? If that makes sense. I'm going to take a picture of this so you guys have it. Hold on. And Sandra, feel free to send your goaty goat across.
I think I'm just touching the goat.
Okay. Diana, did you need any help on this portrait, or you feel like you know what you want to do with it, or do you feel like it's done?
I think I know where I'm going.
Okay.
Kind of. I just wanted to tell you where I'm at.
I like it. I think it looks so great. I think you really got it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Are you feeling?
I don't know if Annika knew this guy. Annika, do you recognize him?
Maybe not.
I'm not sure.
No, I don't. I'm not sure you knew him, but
okay.
Who is he?
Thomas Rosander.
I don't know him.
No.
Yeah.
He was consul general here.
Oh, okay. I met him then, but I don't remember. It's good though. Looks good.
He died.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Of a kidney stone. It's
yeah.
Really sad.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, they normally don't kill you.
Yeah, no.
That's like
scary.
a sad thing. Yeah, right? All right. So we've got our envelope here. I'm going to push this up so this doesn't confuse anybody. Actually, maybe I'm just going to do this. I think that's even easier. You can bring that in more. And as we're, let's see, let's do a straight line down from here. Now, for some of you, I want to be continuing to review measuring. If you're watching this on the screen, you can measure. You don't need to print this out and try to redraw these lines. You can watch on the screen, and here I'm going to add myself, Claudia, long time no see. Nice to see you. All right. So if you can see me here, and in fact, I'm going to even stand
Hey,
up.
Claudia.
Hi, Claudia. Nice to see you.
Where have you been?
We did a documentary last 3-4 months, so I just was working nonstop. But
good for you. We're happy to see you back.
Yeah.
Let me get to this instruction before I forget what I'm going to say. So anyway, if you can see, I'm standing here straight and I'm holding my pen, my Sharpie out. I'm holding it straight. I'm not holding it that way. I'm not holding it this way. You can stand and figure out, and if you can see my hand, my arm here, right? I'm holding this pen parallel to the paper. That means I'm not bending it that way. I'm not bending it this way. It has to be straight, like railroad tracks, right? And from here, I can kind of squint, take my bottom thumb. So I've got the top lined up with the top of the line. Want to find the halfway point. Yeah, I'm going to say it's a little bit lower. Here, here. So where is the halfway point on this line? Can you guys tell me? Try it yourself and tell me. Where do you think the halfway point is? Give it a look, check it out. Key things, you got to keep your arm straight. You can't bend it backwards and forwards as you're moving, right? You've got to keep it in the same plane. Where's the halfway point?
I would say around the elbow.
Here?
A little bit higher, maybe.
You mean on this line? That's where I'm looking for it. So not really the I mean, you think about here?
Yeah.
Where his little wrist is?
Mm-hmm.
Let's check. Not bad. It's up a little higher. Good job. Here, let me mark that in a different color so you can see it really clearly. There's my orange. Good job. Yep. So here's the halfway point, right? And now I'm just going to use my fingers doing the same thing. The quarter point looks like it's about near the top of this toe. Yep. And then I just go up one here. And this is a good thing to think about. We can draw these lines across. We did this when we were drawing. So you can kind of see where these quarter points line up with in other parts of the frog in this piece. You see how that like works, this idea of measuring? We're like looking. The other thing we can check is, let's see how wide it is here. It's widest at the base here. And it looks like it's a little bit more than halfway up. So if I'm going to sketch this, let's see, I'm going to sketch it like this. Yeah. I'm just going to run this across. There's the end of my drawing. Oh, wait, here. Sorry, hold on. I'm going to move this so you guys can see this better. And then I know that this width, it's a little bit higher than the halfway point. So I'm going to start by finding my halfway point on my paper. That's a lot easier. You can just like do what I'm doing. Oops. I mean, you have to find it right first. Don't get it in the wrong place. You can write and check. You can make marks and check. So here's my halfway point. Now, whether you're sort of able to write this down, right, on a piece of paper like this, or you're checking like this, it's the same process. You also don't have to really remember so much what's happening here, because you don't have to remember so much, because you can just keep going back and checking. So you'll see there's a lot of people doing this, squinting, right? Constantly. You might be able to remember one measurement. You're not going to remember all of them. So you don't have to do that. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the widest width of this drawing, which once again, if I go all the way to here, yeah, it's kind of about this high, 1, 2, 1.5. So I come here. I can see that it's way wider on the right than it is on the left. So first, I'm going to get the width of that line correct. I'm going to guess where I think it's going to go. Then I'm going to check it. I have a feeling I'm going to have to move it over. So this, yep, I'm totally going to have to move it over. This is going to come over a little bit this way. And not fantastic composition. This is going to come over like this. This should be about 1.5. 1.5. This should be about 1.5 the times this of this side. So let's see. This is 1. Oh, nope, that didn't work either. Let's do that. See how I'm kind of scooching it left and scooching it right to see if I can figure out, make sure I don't lose my, yep. 1, 1. That's right. Here and here. So go ahead and send that over to me. Before you start sketching your fraud, go ahead and send over those measurements to me. Send over your, if you want to, you can also sketch in your envelope. I can see. This lines up with the bottom here, right? Go ahead and sketch in your envelope. I bet you missed this, Claudia. That, nobody misses measuring.
But we missed you, Claudia.
We did. We sure did. What was your documentary on?
The French presidential election.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Do you feel depressed or better?
Well, I have to work on Sunday because Sunday is the first round of the election,
right?
And we have a right-wing candidate that has pretty good chances of passing. So,
Well,
you're going from one Trump to another, huh?
Right.
Well,
No,
we have
no,
Trump
it's not like Trump Macron.
Here, I'm going to send a picture of this guy too.
No, but the right-wing candidate in France is
Yeah,
very Trumpy.
You mean this Trump? Because they don't have a Trump now.
yeah. Right. I mean,
no, I thought you went Macron, which I thought was
no. Absolutely not.
No, hopefully you won't get elected.
Hopefully.
No, that's, I mean.
Hopefully not.
No, can't imagine. But could get you to the second round.
It's like the level of, I don't know.
But we have the same cretinous people.
Yes, that's the problem. There's a certain level of cretinisness. That's a very good word.
Well, they're empowered, right, by people like Trump.
Right. It's funny because Trump seems to be kind of going down in all levels here, but one of the things that I'm observing is that there's a lot of mini Trumps kind of out there. Yes, feeling empowered and running for election. So let's see, Kristen. Okay, I'm gonna check all your things, Christian. Looks pretty good. One. Yep, looks good, my friend. Yeah, I think, Christian, this might be a little bit, nope, looks pretty good.
Somehow the top doesn't seem right. I don't know.
The what?
The top line from
this one?
From the very top, yeah, to over the
Yeah, I think you have this a little bit out. I think this is slightly too long. So if you can thin this out, just bring this a little to the left.
Yeah.
Make it slightly too wide. That will give you the shape that you're looking for.
Okay.
Other than that, that looks pretty good. Good job. I know this like feels so tedious, right? But once you get into the zone, it becomes much easier. It kind of, you know, it becomes sort of more second nature. Yes, let me run my lines straight across. So I can see a couple things. I can see that like his sort of upper arm, like his little face is, his eyes are mostly up here, but his mouth and head kind of come down in here. His upper arm is here, mid back. Most of his little adorable little, what do you call it? His little paw. It's not a paw. His little foot. His little webbed foot. What are they called?
Fingers. Fingers and feet.
So
hands. He's got hands and feet.
Isn't he the cutest? I mean, look at his little hands and his feet. They're just darling. And then really the bottom half of his body is here. And look at how much space there is before we get to the bottom. So there's a lot of things to kind of check as we're going through this. Let me see here. Let's start with some, as always, let's start with the outside shapes. Let's start with the negative space. It helps. There we go. Let's start with that. And then maybe, I know these are a little hard to see. Let me try another one. Notice that one eye is kind of more on the side and one eye is kind of looking at us. Right, and my suggestion is to block off the feet and hands in these bigger shapes before we draw anything else, right? Block those off. So there we go. This is kind of the external shapes. Let's see. Geraldine, can you take a, oh, Emma, can you take a picture of this actually looking straight up? I can't, it's at an angle. I can't really see it properly. Let's see. I'm gonna check your measurements. Good, those first ones are good. Geraldine, this is too wide. You're gonna have the same problem Christian did. This is like how wide it is, so narrow it out and you'll see. Thank you. This is George's, all right.
Will do.
1, 2, good job like dividing into quarters, you guys. Good job. Just having to look at this. George, perfect. Well done. Perfect. Anik, okay. It's Anik, it's just really straight down. It's not at an angle. So let me see here. 1, 2, good. Good, excellent. Good job, Anik.
Thank you.
Yes, and Geraldine, also observe that you're kind of curving this line out a little bit. that's really common, but it's not really curved. It's really straight at an angle. Our tendency is to, Janet and I have very long conversations about this when we were visiting last week. And what we really, the conclusion we really came to was you, the royal you, each one of you is going to make the same mistakes over and over again. Now, you might not make the same mistakes as each other, but you're going to make your own mistake over and over and over again. You're going to continue to make the same mistake until you figure out that you're making a mistake and you really decide to try and address it, right? So be aware that it's not bad to make mistakes, but it's good as much as you can to begin to analyze what those mistakes are so that we can try and address them in a sort of universal way. But that's just true. I'm trying to think of what mistakes I always make. Sometimes I'm not as careful with my measurements, believe it or not. I think I've got it and I don't. Let's see. Oh, yep, Diana's laughing. She's like, oh my God, you're bugging us all the time about your measurements. And there are particular measurements. I struggle a lot with where to place mouths. Almost never get that right. As much as I try, as much as I
even animal mouths?
Even, yeah, I struggle. Yeah, that's a hard one for me.
Whereas most people get the eyes wrong, right? Too high.
I don't think there's any two ways about it. I think everybody's different. I think everybody is different. I mean, I think there's certain mistakes we all make, but I think for the most part, and one of the things I'm observing here is that if you need to bring your line out a little bit higher, you can do that. I'm going to bring my envelope line just a touch higher, so there's a little bit more space. Yeah, no, what we observed, Janet used to make this mistake with her legs all the time in her figures. I mean, she made it for years until she finally figured out that she was doing it. So it's just this process. And see, notice how I'm not really paying attention to the eye.
By the way, there's construction noises coming from me. Can you hear them?
We can't hear him at all.
No, good.
Isn't that amazing?
I was gonna go on mute. And
yeah, don't do it. Don't go on mute.
They're sewing cement or something.
It's ultimately for the good, the greater good.
At least you're not cutting a tree. I'm always worried about who lives in it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
When, when my neighbors moved in, there was this huge property, the same size as ours, like a little bit more than half an acre. And they had these beautiful big trees. And the new owner came in and cut them all down.
Oh,
it's illegal here.
I think it is here.
You need to get a special permit.
What are you going to do when it's done?
Denounce them.
right.
Denounce them.
And then they built a skateboard park. So I have a skateboard park next.
See, if you had denounced
For God's sakes.
and they couldn't have cut the trees, they couldn't have built the skateboard park.
Yeah, I don't know how I would have been able to do that.
Mm. There's a way you can go straight to the city.
Yeah, the city knew about it and they were like, oh, he's one of the world's best skateboarders. I don't know what.
This looks good. This looks good, Claudia.
Outrageous.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to make more coffee and secure my painting from the fishing markets.
So observe here that I'm really not paying much attention to, I know you're going to want to, but I didn't do much attention. I didn't pay much attention to the eye. I'm really paying attention to this shape. And actually I can see that I'm drifting it down a little too much. There we go. This is a pretty straight line. Great. I'm going to pull out my eraser a lot. Eraser. Hello, buddy. Here, now I can kind of go down, right, like this. Like that. So I'm using like these lines to help me, these are guidelines, kind of help me figure out where things are. I haven't got in these knees yet. Little fingers. So cute. Okay. I'm really trying to focus on those outer shapes. By the way, did anybody see Sandra's lamb yesterday? It looks really good. Did a good job, Sandra. Don't eat lamb. Can you eat that lamb? Don't eat lamb. Don't even think about it. Do not eat lamb.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, you did a good job with that one. All right, so here's our beginning. Look at how we're starting to kind of block them out. Just send that out. Hi, buddy.
Leah?
Yeah.
Hi. Could you just look at my outlines, because I'm filling it in. It feels a bit too wide.
Let's see here. I did look at your outline. I thought it looked okay. You could scoot it slightly this way. Let your straight line a little bit to the right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. This seems, it looks like each of these, it's like a third is on this side and 2/3 is on that side. So you can check and make sure until you get down here.
Is yours all right? Yours is better than mine.
I mean, you can also adjust it as you start to get your sketches in.
Yeah, that's definitely right.
Okay, nice. Muted again.
Wait, this might be too low. I think I made this. No, it's okay. Maybe it's a little too low. Let's see. Give me just 1 second. You guys are right back.
That's my complaining dog, if you hear it.
Okay. In a little bit, I'll send you over some Faith Ringgold stuff so you can see what I'm talking about. For journalists, it's going to be interesting. So she really combines storytelling in this very, I can't stop reading it kind of way.
That must be fun.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty impressive. It's taking a lot of different pieces and putting them together in a beautiful way. And you can see, like, I think African Americans have like sort of taken the quilt because it's not so dominated by jerks who say this is how you, you know, it's not like fabric and quilting has become very prevalent. I think it's because it isn't so dominated by old school people trying to tell you there's only one way to do it. So it's an interesting thing to see. And so fabric art has become incredible, like has become some of the most interesting, innovative work, I think, in the city. You combine it. Well, my favorite artist is Bisa Butler, and she's got incredible rendering skills, and she does it all in quilts now. So her quilts look like paintings. They're painted like paintings. They're put together like paintings, except she sews them rather than paints them. They're really amazing. Once you have sketched out this, we can get some of the inner lines. Let me do those in red. All right, and maybe you can even also try this technique of using, I like to use negative space even for the spaces between toes and fingers. Observe this light lip of the frogs, and what's happening underneath it is darker, right? Observe these things. And then these wonderful little patches. Sandra, do you know what this frog is?
It must be some kind of exotic tree frog.
Completely in love with
I can look it up actually.
Oh, can you? Do you have a need to do that? Yes, please do.
Okay.
Thank you. How do you do that? Do you have you can take a picture and run it through?
Very easy. You go to Google Lens.
Oh, I love it. So you'll see that I have some of the outlines of things. Oh, come on. Stop. There we go. I'm going to take a picture of this so you can see. Does anybody have thoughts on what your underpainting color is going to be?
Okay.
Yep.
It's impossible to pronounce this. I'm going to.
I love it.
I'm going to send you what Wikipedia says, okay?
Okay, please.
There you go.
Definitely, its common name, splendid tree frog, really does work. It's in Ecuador, Colombia, and Panama. Oh, we just don't know frogs like this here in our, in our parts of the world. I don't know, maybe in Mexico, but probably not even. Okay, so now I can come in and kind of add a little bit more shape, right? I can see that this eye is kind of on its side and it comes down like this. I can see that this eye has a completely different shape and size. It's mostly up here, but a little bit of it comes down under. And because he's looking this way, probably like, who's taking a picture of me? I'm so photogenic, right? And then I can see that the mouth is kind of halfway above and halfway below that 1/3 line. I think the hardest thing to remember, because as we start to sketch things, we tend to make them too big. We focus on them. We forget that we have to pay attention to what's going on around. So that's really the key here. I'm going to mark this area because it's a pretty distinct dark area underneath the chin and the mouth. If I feel like I need to bring this up a little bit, I will. Okay. Here we go. Oh, now there we go. We got a little froggy starting to happen here. In little baby pieces, he comes. All right, what's an obvious thing? Looks like I can see that this arm kind of lines up with the inside of the left eye, our left eye. So you can see I've already put it too far. So I guess the common mistake I make is I make things too big. I draw them out too big and I have to kind of pull them back. That's what I observe happen, particularly when I'm a little bit more tired. I don't have quite the concentration. You'll notice from time to time, you sometimes have it and you sometimes don't. There we go. Maybe this needs to be slightly skinnier. See how I can kind of thin things out. But I can do this with confidence, knowing that my basic shapes are correct. So as long as I'm continuing to think. Yeah, I'd say now, Diana, now that I'm really thinking about it, I'd say my biggest issue is I make things too big. And you will watch me, if you watch me closely, I will correct things about 5 times in my drawings, even in class. I will make these corrections. I'm so used to doing it. It's not like I say to myself, I'm going to stop it. It's just, I know that I do it. So I'm going to.
I do the same, but I mean, for me, I don't think it's a problem.
It is a problem if you don't correct it.
Yeah, but
that's the problem. That's what I'm discussing.
It's part of the process.
It's part of the process, but it is a problem that needs to be corrected. It's an error that needs to be made. So maybe that is an error a lot of people make, but it's important for beginning artists to understand that it's not that you're going to get it right on the first go. You need to know how to correct it. That's really the key.
Yeah.
Right. The only people who really cannot draw are the perfectionists who insist that every piece they put out is exactly the same. Oh, I see. Whoops. Got a little confused there. Are the people who cannot bear to be wrong at all. Those people, I've had 1 or 2 in my life who just really literally can't, they can't handle being, they can't handle being wrong. They can't handle the, and those people cannot do art.
That must be a fun life.
What?
That must be a fun life.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine? Right. Because, right, we're always wrong. So one of the things drawing teach you is you got to be wrong. I had this wonderful student, his name was Jim, wonderful man who was an incredible carpenter. And he wanted to like measure everything before he put down one line in his drawing. He did not last long because, and he was figure things out, but it wouldn't work on the 2-dimensional surface, right? Because we can't translate these. You come out with these crazy calculations. This should be this way. And I'm like, can't you just look at it and see? Why can you not look at these 2 shapes and see once you get them out that they have it? But no, that was like really, I loved him. He was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But he struggled. It was hard for him. It was like super hard.
Did he persevere or did he give
up? No, he stopped. He couldn't really. And I actually
I guess because in wood, you know, you get what they say, measure twice, cut once.
Right, but you can't measure in wood the same way you measure as a drawing. It doesn't work, right? It's 3 dimensions. I don't know. He could have died for all I know. He was quite old. So that was part of it, I think. You know, it's like new dog, old dog, new tricks kind of thing. And he was really lovely, but yeah, no, he couldn't do it. There are 1 or 2 people who really they just don't like being wrong. Rarely, it's rare, but it happens. Let's see. Oh, Anik, looking good. Looking good. Looks good to me. What colors are, so what are you gonna do? I feel like the only thing I think he needs to come out a little bit. Do you feel like he's a little scrunched here? So pull him out a little bit farther this way. Just a touch, a couple like millimeters, not too much. Also,
I think that I
think also you brought this down a little too low, or this is up. So pay attention to this shape too, right?
Yeah, this is difficult, almost, you know. This part is quite difficult.
Yeah. So take, once you've assessed it, look at this negative space in between to make sure you've got it. I'm going to do that now.
Oh, what's going on?
So let me see. I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to do that by actually sketching in, right? And then, I need to bring this down. Yep. So I just need to make sure, you see what I'm doing here? I'm kind of making sure I have this space, which is easy to, Annika. Annika, his leg comes down into this last third. You have it all crunched up in here.
Okay.
Yeah, bring him down. So you see how he looks scrunched?
Yeah.
So elbow comes, so you have his elbow above here. So you stopped paying attention to your quarters and what's in each quarter. If you look carefully, erase, the top looks okay, but erase the legs here and this bottom half of the body and move him down to where he needs to be.
Okay.
Question. Okay. I found, did you guys find that you had to stretch the knee out a lot farther than you thought? I can see that the knee kind of lines up if I angle this with the edge of the froggy here. Oh yeah, even more.
What are you doing?
Chicken. Christian, otherwise that looks pretty. The only thing I would say, and Christian, I'm just being nitpicky here. Look at how thick this arm is. You have it kind of bent, which thins it out like that. If you really bring this line up and straighten it above here, you'll see that you get that thickness, right? And the reason I'm pointing that out, everything is bigger because this arm is coming towards us. This knee is coming towards us. These are the things that are the biggest.
He's got like Popeye arms.
Yes. Well, and this one in particular, because it's closer to us, right? So everything, right? These limbs which are sticking closer to us he does have Popeye arms. That's totally true. But also everything is bigger because it's closer to us. Okay. If you remember correctly, just let me remind you. You guys all know this, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? Here, my hand is bigger, smaller than my head. Here, it's bigger. Here, it's way smaller, right? So it all depends on how close the thing is to you, whether it's bigger, medium, smaller. I always actually just tell myself I know things are bigger than I think they are on this particular side. A little dolly, little doll face. If you want to, you can add some of the shadows that are in here. I'm not feeling the need to get too super detailed right now in hands and feet. There's some web, right? That is kind of important to get in here. There's not too many of these lines. You can probably get them in fairly accurately. I guess he's supposed to look like tree bark. That's my guess.
No,
That's what
he's
those
very
markings
colorful,
are.
so I guess he looks like flowers. He's so colorful.
He is, isn't he? But look at his, do you see these shapes, Sandra, right here? You think this is designed
that. Yes,
to look
I guess
like,
it's some kind of camouflage.
do you think? I don't know. I don't know enough about animals to really know, but like that was my thought. I was like, oh yeah.
But he seems to, I don't know, he seems to maybe spend more time on flowers.
Yeah. What a doll. What a little doll face.
They're often also poisonous when they're very colorful. It's a warning to nature not to be eaten.
Or they want people to think they are. Right?
It's not people, it's usually
other animals, right? But they want all the other animals to think they're poisonous.
No, they usually are. It's usually there's some colors in particular, like red and white, you know, like some mushrooms are like that.
Oh, right. Interesting. That's so interesting. By the way, once you've kind of got your sketches down, you can at least get the outer edges of everything out if you want to. What colors are you guys thinking about for underpainting? You're in acrylic painting, so any thoughts? And I want to tell you, you don't even have to stick with these colors. I just thought they were so impressive that you'd want to, but you don't have to. I haven't even thoroughly, I probably will just because I'm feeling a little bit lazy this morning. So I probably, and these colors are spectacular. So why mess with perfection? But you don't really have to, right? You don't have to do anything. As Faith Ringgold says, just know why you're doing what you're doing.
I was thinking maybe Prussian blue.
Ooh, I like where you're going. I like seeing your palette. You explore your palette. This is exciting. Okay, if you're going to go there, let's see. Ideally, oh, Ani, that's looking great. Good, good, good.
Thank you.
You know what? Do you not think you're done, Diana?
Yeah, I'm starting to think that. I'm just wondering if the shades are too dark on the chin or not, but they are.
Yeah, can you send over the picture again just so I can look at it? I feel that it's possible that the sort of turquoise
too dark
underneath his nose might need to be lightened just a little bit. I love what you've done with his eyes. I like how the turquoise shadow is kind of working in the glasses. I like how it's working on the chin underneath, but it might be just a little too strong. I like how you have it on the base of the nose. I think it's too
strong over his lip, probably.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Underneath the nose, right? Between the nose and the upper chin, I think it needs to be softened a little bit.
Yeah.
And lightened. But
I love the turquoise shadow as well. That's what stood out to me.
All right. So if you love that, check this out. Hold on. So this is because you know I was going to bring it to Faith. Where is she? I just sent this out to other people. Ah, yes. So this was my favorite painting of Faith Ringgold's. It's a mural that she painted in a woman's prison. I want you to look at these really closely and look at how she uses blue in a very particular way, these turquoises to really, now this is kind of a surrealist, right? It's not exactly, but look at how well these look, right? Even though the eyes are bigger, oh, I love how she does this one. If you look at these really closely, you're going to see a very clear artistic decision. Look at those. Using this turquoise blue. I just thought it was amazing. Love this one. This one is beautiful. I think this is the most realized of all her portraits. I really just think it works. So take a look at that when you get a chance. And then yes, let's think about, so what am I gonna do? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just grab randomly. I'm gonna shut my eyes and I'm gonna grab randomly at whatever. Interesting. So my base is turquoise because I just grabbed randomly at the colors. Yeah, soften that, Diana, and then I think you're in good shape.
Okay. Yeah, that's
George, that looks great. Good job.
Oh, he's so cute.
Really cute. Aren't they cute? George, if you want to be totally accurate, great. Look at how it's adorable. His mouth, his head is a little smashed in because you brought your mouth way too close to this line. If you bring it up here, look at where it is in relation, right? It's up here. Then his face will be a little bit wider. Nice work. Yes, Emma's got it. I'm just looking. So Emma, take a look at what's happening down here. I think your knee is sort of scrunching. It's a little bit too straight when it kind of bends up a little bit. And you can tell because there's not that much space here, right? So look at this shape here to really reconstruct how these, and also, yeah, that's it. Everything else is cute. They're very cute. Notice how if you change things like the mouth line, how different the energy is, like how different the sort of, okay, and we've got an hour to paint, so we should be in pretty good shape here. I'm going to keep this guy up. I'm going to move it up a little bit. I'm going to work with turquoise because as a base, because I grabbed it. That's what I grabbed this morning. Let's see how this goes. So once again, your first layer is going to be a little bit watery. You're going to want to use a bigger brush if you can. And once again, I'd start with the darker layers. So it's really darkest kind of right in here where the frog is kind of meeting this little flower. So here, and here.
Yes, going to take out her dog. Be right back.
Okay. Here, is that the darkest? Oh, yes, oh, I think it's kind of darker down here. Right, it's darker. Oh yes, and then these guys are kind of dark. Those shapes, that shape. I guess these shapes are pretty dark. I'm going to thin these out later. I can thin this with my top layers. Right. And then I'm going to use more water to make a watery layer. And maybe I'm going to get a paper towel. I'll be right back. You can see it's a little tricky to paint this one because there's not that many darks and lights. So we're kind of playing with that. What's it like over there, Sandra? It's very sunny and kind of lovely here, but not too
sunny at last after 4 days of rain.
Yay. Oh my God, your yard must be like, whoa!
Yes, it's so exploding. And I'm very happy for the cats because they had to spend 4 days inside. They were getting grumpy.
I bet. So notice I'm just kind of running a thin layer over the whole frog. And then I'm gonna go, and then I'm gonna like do a thin. There's not as much detail here. So I'm almost like toning the whole thing, this light watery color. I wonder how this is going to look on the top layer. It's interesting. Wait, too dark. And then I might go back over and darken my darkest parts, right? So now I'll go back in. Darkest parts are here. So maybe the best thing is to tone everything, this kind of light watery layer, and then come back in with more paint, less water, to kind of push out the darkest parts. It's kind of where the belly is. It's kind of the under. There's a few shadows. But it's interesting. It's not as much as in other pieces. I picked this anyway, even though I could see that that was happening, because I wanted you guys to have the experience of kind of playing with your values to see if you can, you know, make some differences. There we go. And then you have a choice of either picking with these colors or picking any colors that you want to. And my suggestion will also be, here, hold on. That as you're doing this, you can decide on your light. Okay. Jolene, this looks pretty good. There's a couple areas where we need to work on. Oh, I see. I still think this is a little bit thicker. So bring this line straight out and up, and you'll see you'll get the thickness that you need.
Right.
This base looks pretty good. I can see everything else. Yeah, everything else looks good. I love how everybody kind of, this is like so much fun. I mean, honestly, animals are the best. Because look at how already this guy has such personality. You should have seen the one we did on Wednesday. Here, I'm going to go get it for you because it was just so cute. Ani, excellent. I can see, get a little light wash over here. And then you can start layering your colors in, however you want to.
All right.
I mean, look at this guy. So cute, right? So cute. So cute. Let's just put all these up and turn them. And once you're through with the drawing, here are some colors to inspire you. But like I said, you don't have to keep them. I'm still thinking myself. I'm waiting for my painting to dry. And I'm thinking. Claudia's brush is moving around. I see it. Busy. I think I'm spying on everybody. What's everybody doing? You know, I have to tell you, one of the most amazing things about going to New York. So I have never met Jessica Pryor in person before. And what I really got, there is just a moment where you're like, oh, I can actually see all of you. I can touch you. And then you realize you totally know the person really well. So Claudia, I don't know if you had that feeling when you met with Olga in Paris, you know, that like feeling of I know this person. We're getting to know each other much better than you'd think, right? Because we're so far apart. And that's really neat. I just thought that was such a cool experience to go, oh yeah, I know you. We're friends. We're already friends. We know each other. There's the added element of being physically in the same place, but it doesn't really, it's not a big deal. All right, here, I'm going to send you another piece of Faith Ringgold's. Let's see. So this is a very classic example. This is called, nope, wait, hold on. Sure, I took a better picture. Here. So this is a story called The Street. Yeah, right, Anik, in some ways, totally.
That's why I wanted to document.
Yeah, that this is before you, so right? Cool. Like it feels done. There's no reason why you couldn't do this as a black and white, quite frankly.
What a shame on such a
colorful creature. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. We have another hour, 40 minutes, something like that. So if you look at this, you can read, this is the name of this quilt is called The Street. And it's a story that starts, it's all these pictures looking out a window, of people looking out a window at a car crash. And the story is about the car crash. And the way the story is written is really compelling. Like you want to keep reading. I mean,
it's wonderful with people that has that drive.
Yeah. Part one, the accident. Ain't nobody on this street gonna ever forget that night, that accident. All them cars piled up right outside this door and everybody in them dead but Big Al. It wasn't real. They was just going to Coney Island for some corn on the cob. And the next thing we know, Big Al was on the sidewalk screaming, I killed my... Next panel, right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I posted this little fragment and a friend of mine said, where's the rest of it?
Yeah.
Where's the rest of it? So I found the rest of it. I did. You can actually find her writing as well in various, let's see, where's the rest of it though? I did get the rest of this. And it goes down for like 5 columns, this story.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
And she did not hold, and then here's the rest of the story. And all these people like looking out the windows above and then like below, like that story. So the rest of the story says, to my wife and 4 of my sons, and AJ was holding his father in his arms like he was a baby. Big Al ain't killed nobody. The car behind him was at fault. Come driving through here like he was on a racetrack, made a sandwich out of Big Al's car and a car parked in front of him. That bastard died instantly. And a pregnant woman and her husband going to the hospital to deliver was in the parked car. They all died too. You might know it was a drunken fool in a stolen car that hit him. We was smelling liquor around here for a month after they cleaned up that mess. Next day, 222 came straight. Everybody hit it but me. Just, it goes on. I mean, imagine in the story, in the alter ego she creates for herself in Paris, this young Black artist woman marries a French guy, and there's a giant painting of her feeling like, oh shit, I have to make a statement, right? Like, so she runs out in her wedding dress and throws her bouquet in the water, goes back in, marries him. goes on to pose for Picasso and Degas. And there's a really great one of all these great American female Black leaders sitting in the Arles sunflower fields with Vincent van Gogh kind of serving them. I mean, and all of it with this writing as she's going through and processing what it means when society says, I don't accept your art. You know, I don't accept it. How do you sort of, because of who you are, because of what you look like, because of how your art is. So yeah, it's really, I think that's why her work is so profound, right? She's like, fuck that. I'm gonna do this. I am gonna do this and y'all can follow me. And we all did. I'm still taking a little bit. If it feels
but
like
it takes so much strength to just follow your heart.
Right. As my friend Lotto says, you'll never be able to paint like a master, but if you're lucky, you'll be able to paint like you.
Yeah.
Right. If you work hard enough, you'll be able to find you. And that's yeah. It's profound. Really, really great. It's exciting. It's also exciting to know there are people that are that brave out there. That brave and bold and you know, I'm rereading Maya Angelou's autobiography right now. It's 4 books and it's so impressive. Like she's so epic as a human.
Ouch.
You all right there?
Yeah, but it didn't.
Did you mess it up?
Yeah.
Do you want to send it over or do you want to just try fixing it?
No, I'm going to fix it first.
Fix it. Yeah. I know you know how to do it.
I'll fix it first. But it was not a good idea what I did. I softened it in the same color.
Oh, yeah. That's, so now that's something you should, now that is a mistake where you're like, I have to do what Diana would do, which is put different colors in my midtones. That's what Diana would do. You have to remember what Diana would do and get it right. It's so funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was talking last night, we were working on 3/4 poses and face drawing. So we were practicing this little sketch here.
Yeah.
Right? Loomis sketch. And I was telling the girls who were in the class last night, I'm like, look, here's the thing. Did you feel wrong? They all did a pretty good job. And I'm like, did you feel wrong the entire time you were doing this? And they said, yes. And I said, so you're not wrong. What that's telling you is your left brain thinks things should be different. You spend all your, you're like spending a certain amount of time arguing with yourself. Wait, is it like this? Is it bigger than I think it is? Or what, what's happening? And I said, that feeling of wrong, it's not exactly wrong. It's like challenging what you think should be happening.
So we didn't hear a word. You froze.
Oh, well, there you go. So you're trying to explain something.
Only heard, I was telling the girls in class and then you froze.
I see that. Wait, am I back yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So what I said was this feeling of, I asked them how they felt. Did they feel like they were wrong? Right. And they said, yes, the entire time we were drawing this didn't feel right, but it was right, but it didn't feel right. Right. They could see it was right, but they could see that they were fighting with themselves. And I'm like, this is the artistic process in action. You're fighting with yourself. What feels wrong. Now, that doesn't mean that what's wrong is always right, but it does mean that, like, if you find yourself questioning, wow, is the ear really there? Isn't it higher up? Isn't it smaller? Doesn't the eye, is the eye that big or is the eye that small? Or is this side like so scrunched up? You know what I mean? Like you find yourself going, this can't possibly be true. And yet it is. So so as you're like kind of going through that battle, you're getting comfortable with that voice, which is arguing with you. Like just arguing.
you know how it is when you change one thing?
Yeah, then you have to change everything. Sorry,
Yeah.
Is that just happened to you?
Yeah.
Well, you've got an hour. You'll be able to fix it. Mine is still not drying. Would love to see your drawings. And if you feel like you're kind of on the way, just go ahead and be on the way.
Can I just hold up my goat for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on. Let me give me 1 second. Hold on. I want to add you as a spotlight. Yes, please.
It's just very much. Yeah.
Oh, widow face. Oh, animals are so much fun to paint. Maybe goats will be our first like furred animal.
It's got gorgeous blue eyes, that baby goat.
They have those amazing square pupils that look so
long
like
rectangles, horizontal rectangles. Yeah,
so interesting. They look so like they feel so old. That kind of animal.
Both like dinosaurs.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
I think it's because of the prey animals. We need to see.
So they were what? What do you say? Can you expand on that further? That idea? You said they're prey.
Oh, I think it's something to do with their vision, but they need to, they're not hunters, so right. they don't have to see right in front and chase. They just need to see predators coming from the side and run.
Right. So their pupils. Okay, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
But I'm sure there's better explanation about why they need these pupils like that.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know how. More lateral vision.
Oh, that would make sense. I don't know, Sandra. That sounds. I'm buying it. Sounds pretty good to me. Sounds really like. That's all I need to know. Makes sense. So I'm throwing up some reds, a little bit of green, some blue. I'm really just putting up a combination of primaries right now. I've got cadmium red, although I might add, there's ultramarine blue. I've got some yellow, although I'm putting up a warm yellow, although I feel like my yellow I might mix with a little red to make it orangey when it comes right down to it. There we go. So as I'm starting to layer on, I'll just start with these and we'll see. Oh wait, I'm gonna put some burnt umber on here so that I can kind of mix and blend, create some neutrals. So yeah, we've got the primaries, burnt umber. We'll see what else we need as we get in here. Am I going to a smaller brush? Not yet. I've got this red here. I like how the red looks on. Look at how that, just adding in that red, look at how bright that looks on top of the turquoise. I may need to. Now definitely there's some areas that are in shadow. So how do I make the shadow of red? Anybody know? How do I make the shadow of red?
Adding blue?
No, close. Green. Adding green. Yep. So I've got a little bit of green here. And here, I want you guys to see this. I'm mixing
those complementary colors.
Yes, exactly.
Complementary colors, exactly. So I'm adding a little bit of green into this red to make it kind of darker. I noticed that it's kind of happening around where the body is hitting, right in here. A little bit here. Definitely in here. Probably going to need to switch to a smaller brush, but right now, here a little bit. Yeah, And then if I want to lighten my other red, I could add a touch of yellow to it, right? Make it just a little bit lighter. Wait till it's dry, maybe. I can see there's a lot of dark up here too. It's a little bit of light on top. Oops. There we go. Okay. I'm switching to a smaller brush. I just dropped the brush I want to use on the floor. So I'm still going to stick with a flat. I love flats. This doesn't mean you have to love flat. Everybody likes their own brushes. Flat meaning the bristles are flat. I just like the way the marks make those shapes. Let's see. I'm mixing a touch of red in with my yellow. And if I really want, if I want to make the shadow, we'll start with here. Yeah, that's actually pretty, well, it's probably too red. I'm not really paying attention to the shadows yet. I'm going to get those in. You'll notice that each of these fingers on this top hand has a kind of light side and a dark side. So if you, the more you can get those in, the more realistic it's gonna look. Oh yeah, this is fun. So I'm just using cadmium yellow medium, mixing with a little bit of red. And then I really want to do, I can take a little bit of blue and mix it in with my orangey yellow mixture to get the kind of shadows. Oh yeah, that works out really well. So just mix a little red, orange, and then I put in a little bit of ultramarine blue to get your shadows in. They're like particularly here. There's a lot more hard edges in the animals without fur, which is why they're a little bit easier to paint. I could push my lights a little bit more, so I'm cleaning my brush and just putting straight yellow right on. See, so I can lighten my lights a little bit. Or brush in. Yeah. Everything's a little bit more shadowed here. This is the brightest part. So I might actually take a little yellow, a little white, to mix with my yellow. Hello, Senor. Come here. Come here.
You've given the cat a name?
Oh no, I have given the cat a name, but that's Mabel. I'm talking to Hermes right now. I call him Senor.
Oh, why?
He's, I don't know, Mister.
It sounds like an old man, Senor.
He is a little bit like an old man. He's got like kind of an old manny kind of way. I think you have to
say Senor. If you say Senor, it sounds like an old man.
Okay, Senor. Come on, Senor. The new cat's called Mabel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How is she doing?
She's doing great. She's doing great.
Has she moved in yet?
So Rob has really said I cannot bring her into the house, but it's super nice outside right now at night. So if it gets cold, she comes into my studio at night.
So I think in winter you'll have to fix it.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit this, but that's we got a while. But she's like super happy. Like she just hangs out, and I figured out a way to let Hermes out by blocking in my gates. So now the three of them can be outside, and they just lay in the yard and kind of look at each other.
Oh, that's really great.
Cute. It's so cute. It's so cute. They're very happy. Everybody's super happy. She's happy. Everybody's like, we're all happy. Everybody's happy.
What's going on here?
Yeah. And it was very gratifying. I went away, and I came back, and everybody was like, hey, where you been? It's cute when they notice you've been gone.
Don't ever leave me again.
Right? Wow. They all kind of pile on you in a little like pig pile. It's really charming. Yeah. I think you'll find that even just getting those first, getting that first layer in means your second layer just automatically looks great. Don't worry if your second layer still looks a little bit dark. Better to layer dark over light. It's the joy of acrylic.
Yes.
Right? It's the joy of acrylic. It's like so. There's tiny little bits of yellow. Actually, one of the things I'm really getting out of Carista Trask's abstract art class is I used to think of white as this kind of useless color. But now I really see that you can use white in a way to really push. So I'm about to take white on the eyeballs. And look at what happens. Oh, it's kind of neat. If you're struggling with your brush, you might want to get a smaller one. White is used in abstract painting to kind of erase things, pull things back. And it's pretty amazing to see it actually. It kind of really works quite well.
I have never taken that class.
Oh, it's really fascinating. I mean, it's a very different way of doing things, and yet somehow I have some students that are like, that's it, that's all they want, because it's such a gratifying class. Yeah, I highly recommend you guys do it. I don't know if Europe can really do it. It's probably too late. It's
but it's online too.
Yeah, it's all online. Everything is there. So you might take it. I think, Emma, you've done a couple classes, right? You guys? A couple of.
Yeah, we did one. I think we did one. Maybe we did two. But
was
yeah,
it fun?
the recording's great. Yeah, it was great.
It's really fun, right? It's a totally different. It's like a lot more freeing in some ways.
When is it, Leah?
It's on Tuesdays.
Right.
It's at 3:30 my time. I don't know what that is your time. 5:30. There's a schedule with all of the times and how they translate. But it's totally fun. Krista's a great teacher. There we go. I haven't got in with the greens yet. Annika, kind of perfect right as it is, don't you think?
Yeah.
I see your guys' point. In a way, these underpaintings are really fun. But now go ahead and add some color in, and let's have even more fun with it. Looks great though. It's good to observe the stages as we go through this. Don't get too caught up in finger shape. Think about the bigger shapes first before you really try to get into any kind of detail in the smaller shapes. You need less than you think. I can tell you that much. You really do. You need way less detail than you think.
Ouch.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just annoyed at myself.
Portraits are hard. They're super hard.
And I want this to be good.
Yeah, it will. You're close.
Did I kind of destroy it or no?
I think the shadows under his, I wonder, Diana, if you took a little bit of skin color, like the light stuff, and you sort of, you sort of lightly brushed it on top of, yes, not exactly glaze, a little bit more than glaze. You dry brush a little bit on top of these blue areas. Yeah, it'll feel a little bit more integrated. I think right now it just looks too much like its own, like a mustache or something, right?
Yeah, I have to say also it's above his eyes. It looks like he's wearing makeup.
Yeah, so maybe a slight glaze of blue. Anyway, yeah. I agree with you. But I think the biggest thing is that blue, trying to moderate that blue. So it'll still show through, but it'll be more subtle.
Yeah,
it's a tricky one because he doesn't have those dramatic lights, and you can't do what you're doing with the three guys with him. No. Because it's not dramatic, right? Like it's a subtle. Actually, what the problem that you're dealing with is similar to what we have here, which is that these are two kind of similar in value.
Yeah.
So maybe look at our Froggy for ideas. Actually, maybe that's what the problem was.
Oh, the Froggy is so cute. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that. It has very much blue in the shades there, but it's...
I think the blue just might be too overwhelming.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So that's how when you're kind of doing a traditional portrait, even though you have strong shadow areas, you still brush the light skin color over the shadow just to create a softer edge, right? Unless you're trying to do something like you're doing with that portrait with the three dudes, right?
Which is different.
Right, which is different. And you need a kind of light on the people to be different.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah.
The subject doesn't. So that's the other thing is as you're going forward and you're learning about this, you're starting to express this idea, Diana. You're looking at which subjects are really ideal for it and which ones are not, right? Which ones don't work as well. I find I'm doing a lot of that right now with all of the dripping paintings that I'm doing, that like some subjects really seem to take it well and others require more nuance and finesse to make it work. Let's see. Oh, Anik is already adorable. So Anik, what I would do now is give him a background.
Exactly, and I don't know what kind of background.
I don't know, maybe like an orange or maybe even a purple or. I hate to tell you because I feel like you've got this color palette going, which is cooler than how I would pick it. So I don't even want to tell you. Maybe a gray.
Maybe.
Mix complements. Try a gray that's slightly darker than what you've got right now. Then you can go back over and kind of push out some of the details, right? Like sort of lighten some areas, darken the, yeah, but he's looking great.
Thank you.
I knew this one was fun, so fun. I'll be right back, you guys. Cool. Okay. All right. Let's see. Mixing green and yellow and a touch of turquoise and then a touch of red in my green. Blur. Yeah. Now this green is a tricky one. It's easy to get a little too.
It is so hot here. It's 100 degrees today.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I know, it's just been getting
unimaginable.
Yeah.
What is it like in Poland?
Yeah, what's it like in Poland?
Not spectacular. Today it was like 15 maybe.
Oh, see, that's kind of what we're getting for now.
Yeah, us too. It's great.
Yeah, I guess what we have is like 35.
Oh. Translating it into continental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in here it's like one day is warm, the other day is really cold because it's April, so April is
yes,
like
it's
that.
very changing.
In like a lion, out like a lamb. Yes. We've had a very mild April. Don't get mad at me, Garden God, for saying that.
But it's just beginning.
Yeah, it's just beginning. Exactly.
Hopefully it soon will be really nice because I already seen the wild flowers and it's a wild plum type.
Oh.
So they are just
pictures? Can you send us pictures? Did you take any pictures of them?
The moment they will be, as
they're
they
coming.
should be. Yes, they're coming. I just seen that the buds are ready, getting ready.
Getting ready. They're readying.
Yep.
They're preparing.
Preparing for the full blossom.
Woo! Love that.
I love spring. It's my favorite season.
It is pretty amazing, isn't it? When the earth wakes up.
Yeah. Which is why I like being in Washington, because in New York, it's spectacular, but it lasts like 2 weeks if you're lucky.
Right.
It goes from really cold to really hot and just barely a spring in between. But it's, I must say, after living in England for so long, when it was kind of temperate but gray all the time, I love the seasons, the change of the seasons, the mark.
Yeah, I know exactly.
You don't appreciate spring as much if it's been nice all winter.
That's so true.
It's better, but
as you know, Diana, don't hesitate also to walk away from it.
No, I might need that.
Just to like see the final things, you know what I mean? It's not anything other than the final.
It's better though. It was a good suggestion.
To sort of settle it a little bit.
Yeah. Here it is now.
Yeah, send it. Love to see it. Oh yeah. There you go. You got it. He just needed a little bit more of a subtle. You still got it. It's still there. It just.
Yeah.
I would leave it right now. Personally, I would not work on it anymore because I feel like it's so close to done.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that the decision I made to turn this green was a good idea. So I'm going to wait until it dries and I'm going to put a totally different color on top. So there you go. Sometimes when we experiment, it doesn't work. Yes, I'm totally going to do it. And I even have an idea of what it's going to be. I have this crazy lavendery, light lavendery color. I think I'm going to throw in there. How's everybody? Yeah, that really did. It is really great, Diana. And I mean, what I feel like is it's absolutely him.
Yeah, it looks
it's not like one of those things where you're like, yeah, kind of looks like him, but not exactly like him.
Oh, it does look like him.
It looks like him. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll leave it for now.
Yeah, leave it and then look at it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And you will be able to make those final changes.
Yeah, I can see the forehead is a little bit.
Yeah, don't muck with it right now because you're liable to overdo it. And then, you know what I mean? These things have to be done in stages. You got to be fresh.
Yeah.
To make that final decision. Good job, though. I think it's looking great.
Thank you.
It's looking really, really good. I appreciate the work you put into that. Oh my gosh, we've got like 10 minutes left in class. We started a little bit early, so I can spend another 5 or 10 minutes going.
I love the way you do it. Yeah.
Well, that's fair, right?
I mean, but you're so dedicated, you're not like watching the clock.
Well, Well, this is fun. You guys are fun. Come on.
Thank you.
As far as jobs go, this is a fun job. Here, check this out. So this is a color I think I want to use. What is it? We'll do it here. Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. It's this light, ridiculous purple. Somebody handed this to me as a color. I don't even, oh yeah, this is better. I like it better.
I send you my morning ritual every morning.
What's that?
Oh, I sent it.
Oh, let's see.
The cat on the dog.
Oh. Oh. So do they get along
Educate
any
the
better?
dog every morning.
Yeah, they get along
Is
fine.
that George's? I love the hot pink.
Oh, wow.
So is this George's, Emma, or yours?
It's mine.
Okay. So do you want him just floating on a, do you want him just floating on a?
No, that wasn't really intentional.
Okay. So you might want to like either draw a white
Extend the
line
leaf or
here.
something?
Yeah. Or extend it. Yeah. He's cute though. I like him. What do you, and are you going to do green for your midtone?
You mean for the top of the body?
Yeah, the green parts of the body. Are you going to use?
Well, I mistakenly just squeezed out some silver.
Oh, play with
so
that.
I might mix turquoise with silver because sort of looking at it.
Try it.
It has a sort of, I don't know.
It
has a metallic color in
it does. It definitely does. And I've got a little silver too. Maybe I'll try that. Check out this, you guys. Look at the difference. So here, this color that I picked just pushes everything. It just neutralizes everything. But this, that's still too wet. Look at what happens when I add this lighter sort of lavendery color. I really love this. I think this color is exactly what I'm looking for. Still wet here. Do you see how as I pull this in, it gets like, the frog comes forward more? Yeah, I just gotta wait till that dries. There are a few areas like right up here. This is a fairly straightforward paint, except for these kind of little areas that have these sort of light speckles. Instead of trying to paint them all in, you could do what's called dry brush. So this means that paint is dry, right? This bottom layer, and I've got some lighter color on the top, and I'm gonna sort of pile the paint. I'm not gonna add water to my brush. I'm gonna pile the paint on and then drag it up. See how that creates a kind of a dry brush. So dry brush means I just let some of the base color come through. I'll try it down here too, let's see. So I'll just do this again. I've got a fair amount of paint kind of piled on my brush. I'm gonna drag it up. So the idea is not, see how I'm creating that texture? So the idea is not that I cover all the red, but that I let some of it come through. Yeah, kind of like that. I might have to go back in and darken some areas, but I still can have that effect. So I can now come back in here with a lighter brush, more dark, right? So I can come back in here and darken, but I still have this nice kind of juicy. So there you go, dry brush. We'll talk more about that. That's an important brush technique. It solves a lot of problems. Yeah, I'm liking how that's starting to look. Let's see. Oh, Ani, great decision. Great decision.
Thank you.
I like it.
I just feel inspired by what Emma said, because I have a pearl like a color, and I was thinking to
mix it in there a little bit
with this turquoise green.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Love it.
I'm leaving you guys.
All right, my dear. Have a great day.
Frog. It looks so cute.
Yes, just look forward to cuteness for the next like 3 months.
3 months.
It's gonna be a great 3 months.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God, I am covered in ink. What did that happen?
There we go. Yeah, look at how much better this looks. So I'm paying attention to the edge here, right? That's what's really happening. There we go. It's too small for this. How's everybody else doing? I'm gonna go with a small brush. I want to do a little bit of lining, kind of white and light colors, because there's this little glow around the edges. So I'm taking a little bit of, oh, you can't really see it here. Here we go. A little bit of white, a little bit of purple. And now I'm going to come in here and kind of add that in around the edge. Now it's a little bit strong right now. But that can be fixed. And this is important to know. As you add these strong contour lines, you're often going to make them too big, like this. This is too big. So I'm going to show you how to like fix that. Let me get it in first. Right, and then up here.
You there, or shall I go?
Right now, okay, and down here, it's kind of like a little light edge. See how that helps the frog's kind of elbow come out? See how we've got a little bit more contour. Now I can go in with kind of a lighter green and brush into the edge of it. So I get rid of some of it. So see how I'm doing that? Coming in and I'm brushing kind of over half of it. But later than I wanted. So see how I can add it in and then like kind of brush it out. I'm gonna do that down here too. There's also some interesting lines. So see how my frog is starting to glow a little bit and also pop out a little bit. There's also kind of a slightly lighter area in here up on the top of his knee. So I'm getting more kind of white in here. So see how I'm starting to get a little bit more detail without getting into too much, like I have to get every mark in there. There we go. See, that's a little bit more there's a little bit more detail, but not too much. I'm gonna darken in here to help pull out the fingers. So I don't really need to do much with the fingers. I've just got to kind of darken around them and underneath them. So this is all kind of final line stuff. This dark I'm getting by mixing my favorite mix, which is burnt umber and ultramarine blue. Once again, these lines are a little bit too strong. I know. I know. Right? They're a little bit too strong, but that's okay. I can pull them back with my top colors. There's like that. I don't try and get it exactly right. On this level. I can see there's a little bit too much, right? It's a little bit too strong. So now my job is to go back in with the colors that surround it. Yellow in this case. My job is to fix this frog. I'm getting a little bit of yellow, right? I can see that this yellow, so see I can come in and kind of thin out with this other color. This is what they call erasing in paint, you know? It's like, if you're erasing in paint, this is what you're doing. Let's smooth that out a little bit. There we go. And it has a kind of shaky look, which is actually kind of more like how the marks actually look. See how much better this part looks? Now let's see if we can fix something here. Yep. So see, I'm doing that again. I'm doing it down here. I'm thinning out the line. So it's still there. You can actually paint almost up to the very edge of the line, and our eye will still discern it. But, and it provides the structure without like being too much, too heavy or overbearing. There we go. A little bit better. I'm doing the same thing with the shadow here. I think it's going to help shape what's happening with the fingers and give the, sorry, with the little toes and give them a little bit more structure. It's a nifty trick. See, I can kind of get rid of it and it still kind of reads stronger. So that is my final message to you for today. In terms of tips, it's this. I'm thinking, I'm toying with like between the new classes, keeping Sundays open just as an open session. So I think we might do that. So you can bring in paintings that you haven't finished in class and we can just work on them, whatever you want to work on. There we go. Now he's starting to look like a cutie cutie. Now you're looking cutie cutie. All right, we've got 2 more minutes. This is where I got to with my frog. If you did not finish, it's okay. Also, sometimes Sandra and Diana are kind of continuing to paint on Saturdays after class is over. So I suppose you're welcome to jump into the classroom then. I'll usually just hand it off to whoever wants to keep it going. Well, I kind of like how this is coming along. May not be finished
yet. To you?
Yes,
Leah.
please, hold on. Hold on, let me send a picture of this over where my froggy is. Yes. In fact, I'm gonna add a spotlight. Oh yeah, yep. Indeed, indeed. I'm going to actually highlight each of you. I want you to, let's do it. So Ani, hold your guy up.
Let's see. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love the color choices. I love what's happening. Be careful that dark doesn't encroach in. I bring your orange out a little bit near where his back is. I love the colors. I like how you got the knee. Super nice. All right, Claudia.
Thank you.
Hold it up. First time back in 3 months. More than that, probably.
Really shit.
It is not. It isn't. All right. So here's the thing that you want to stop doing. You're doing too much dotting, right?
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to show you. You're doing too much dotting. I'm going to add a spotlight here. You're just doing too much of this. It looks better than you think, but you're doing too much of this. And that's why with white, and that's why it looks weird. So you want more clean. There's really not much dotting. It's really more clean lines, tiny bits. So just go back over and clean it up with a clean white line, thin liner brush. I guarantee you'll be happier with it, but it's much better than you think it is. Okay, let's see. Hold on. All right, Christian. Oh, fantastic colors. God, I love that background.
Oops.
He's coming along.
Yeah.
so all you need to do is get these dark lines a little bit stronger and also get this part of his back lighter, right? Everything here is in shadow. Oh, sorry, I'm pointing and you can't even see. Here, hold on, let me do this again. So let me show you where you need to push the contrast. Everything in here is darker. Everything here is lighter with this strong contour line. Once you really push that, it's going to look less mushy in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of in this area, it's too flat because you don't have enough this thing, but it's coming along. It's looking great. Really good. So just keep working on it. Annika, let's see where you're at.
It's not where it's going to be, I can tell you that.
It's not where it's going to be. I know. He's cute. I feel like, so here's the main thing. There's a problem with the eyes. Can you see that? Yep. Yeah. So this eye on our right needs to be much bigger.
Yeah.
And the white of the eye needs on our left needs to be smaller.
Yeah.
Keep going. Good job. Did I get everybody? Emma. Let's see. Hold it up. I really love your hair like that. Great. Oh, he's great. So I'm going to tell you, Emma, the same thing I told Christian, which is that this needs to be darker. Let me do it again. The belly needs to be darker. The belly area here is darker. This is lighter. So the reason yours is not, you're looking so flat is this whole thing needs to be a bit darker than what's happening here. And then really have these strong lines here to help push that out, and you'll have more kind of distinction. It's going well.
Did you do black?
I mixed the black.
Right.
Ultramarine, blue and brown, burnt umber. But yeah. But then I don't know if you noticed, I spent all my time talking about cutting it in. So I cut it in, right? I put it out, I put them in with the liner brush, and then I go back over with, here, I'll do it right now, with sort of a brighter yellow to kind of narrow it down. See how I'm actually able to brighten this a little bit more too? So you still notice that darkness, those dark lines. See that? Now I have this kind of distinct difference between the front and the back. So what's really happening is everything that's kind of here below the elbow, I could do more to spell that out, is darker. Everything that's here, right, is darker. See how I'm kind of pushing this out? And everything over here is lighter. I can still kind of lighten it a little bit by brushing on a little bit more. See, I can soften that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a kind of a back and forth thing that's happening. Wait, whoops, I need that. Hold on, Geraldine, I'm going to get to you. There we go. Let's see here. Let's see. Back for the first time in a month.
Yes, I know. Sorry.
I know you had to work.
I was very, very busy. Yeah, I had to work.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, coming back on a strong note. So you might find, I like it, although you might find here in the back of him, in the background, you might want to lighten that a little bit just to push his dark forward, but it's great. It's looking great.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Lovely. Did everybody get a go?